Welcome back to Roadside Nuggets, everybody. This camera is being a little interesting. Alright, cool, it's gonna stay now. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Georgie Boy. Actually, George. So today I want to talk a lot about mirrors with everybody. I feel like with what's coming up and just what everyone is kind of experiencing right now with just how crazy the energies are getting under the surface. This is that undercurrent we were talking about, like about a week or so ago. So I understand this definitely. I've heard from a lot of you over the last couple of days. I've been having my own experiences as well as everybody else. So, definitely as these things are just coming to the surface, the emotions, the triggers, just the attachments and just everything that's blowing up in your face right now, even all of our, what we thought were solutions, and they didn't really go to plan, didn't really exactly work out the way we thought they were going to, and that's causing more aggravation, irritation within us as well because we're not getting it, and all we want to do is get it, when the whole main point may not even be in getting it. It may just be you and how you go through that process, how you are handling things, how you deal with things. Your coping skills have got to improve, right? We have to mature. We have to grow beyond where the level is at that we are comfortable or where we're just in flat out refusal, when we're not willing to move forward further and grow in maturity in that and be able to be capable of more than that, right? So much is attached to the information. We want to know. We want to know. We want to know. We want to know. Just tell me what's the answer. What's the truth? What is this? What is that? It's like if you sat around all day and someone was in your ear all day long, 24/7, telling you all the secrets of life and creation. What would you do with that? What have you shown in life already at this point? What have you shown what you have done with the information you have been given already? Can you honestly say you've been in full integrity and love with that? Can you honestly say that you've used all the information, the wisdom you've accumulated in this life so far, all in the ways of love? None of us have, right? And so what we want isn't necessarily what is highest for us. It's not what's necessary in our growth, in our expansion and development. And there are other things we need to learn and get down as a discipline, get down as a natural way of we existing before we get to all the details and all the secrets and mysteries and all what's this and what's that. Like, what are you going to do with it when you find out? How are you going to act? How are you going to behave? How are you going to go about evolving and growing more with that information, right? And see, these aren't the concepts we bother ourselves with. We're more about just getting there. How quickly can I get it? What do I have to give to get it? How fast can I, cut a corner here and there? Like how long does it take? We're so already over the journey before it even starts. And it's one of the main questions we ask all the time is like, how long will it take? Does it matter how long will it take? Like, are you trying to get somewhere? You have a schedule, you have a time routine you gotta stay on. Why does it matter how long it will take? And truthfully, our focus on how long things take and not wanting it to take so long and wanting things to be shorter and more convenient actually in the long run makes things even more longer. It delays things out even more, and where we think we found convenience, they are short little temporary fixes that ultimately result in another problem that we have. That problem didn't happen before. But now we have the problem because we are trying to short ourselves and life and just be lazy and greedy, right? One way or another, the energy is going to come back. One way or another, the energy is going to exact karma and balance because we have to stay within balanced harmonics. We have to stay within flow and balance with creation. And the energies in creation don't just disappear, and so while we are one way with something, even if we are different with the other, it's still a reflection of ourselves. Both are still our energy frequencies. Both are still our choices. Both are still our actions. We can't get into the split where it's like, oh, well, this is the world they see and know, and this is the world they don't. I don't show them. So I'm not accountable for this world because nobody else knows about it. Nobody else knows about my thoughts. Nobody else knows about my emotions that go on inside. Nobody knows about what I want to do. You know, those belong to me. And how controlling everybody gets on this. You know, it's kind of like, it's I don't know. It's similar to like an adolescent or teenager, you know, going through like a really deep independent stage in their life, really becoming an individual, where it's like we want to claim and be in charge and own and say, this is all mine, this is me, you can't control me, you can't tell me what to do, you can't make me do or feel anything, this is all me. Yet we have done a really shitty job our whole life actually owning up to that. You see that? It's like we were so, it's just like, you know, no, like I'm me, like, you know, I'm gonna be this way, I'm gonna have my hair this way, I'm gonna dress this way, I'm gonna be how I want to be. You know, you remember that whole process we went through as children, growing through teenage, adolescence, and really becoming like an individual person, you know, ready to like branch out from the nest and fly on your own, you know, that energy of like just, you know, I can do it, you know, and we're so passionate and so determined and certain about it. Yet our whole life we've done a really shitty job actually like covering those bases. We've allowed everyone else to absolutely blow that base wide open with nukes and bombs and everything while we were focused on everything else outside of ourselves. Yet what we tell everybody is one thing, but what we actually are doing is completely opposite. Where we tell people we are in control, we've got this, we're good, we're fine, everything like that, what's going on inside is not the same. But just because they've bought that whole thing, don't kid yourself that you can now delusion yourself that it is not going on. Because it is, right? The thing with, you know, the world, this is like, I love these little one-liners the angels drop me every day. You know, the world is full of mirrors, and it is. We are faced with so many different mirror reflections. Not necessarily with what we want, but they are tempters, they are initiators, instigators, they are catalysts in a lot of ways. Different things that entice, motivate, inspire people to go in these certain ways where they already have this built up energy, where they've denied themselves, their attachments, you know, delusions, fantasies, all those different things, where they're in denial. That's actually what they're doing. What they are focusing on, it is secretly triggering those specific triggers, and they can feel it. It's causing things to happen, right? And this is why with no matter what kind of life you try to create for yourself, you can't ultimately run from you. You can never run from yourself. Right? Because everything is going to play out in some way in front of you through whoever is around you. It doesn't matter if you have 500 different relationships. The same issues and problems that you've had in all the other relationships are going to keep happening in all the other next relationships. Because ultimately the problem is not the relationships. It's not other people. It's something in you that you keep running, keep projecting and blaming, keep fighting, and throwing off and defensiveness, deflecting, and then saying, oh, well, why me? Why is my life? Why can I never be, you know, have this and stuff like it's like, it's again, the energy has to change. And you have to really look at what we are really putting out there as an energy. And that's one of the biggest, you know, that's one of the biggest ways I started learning, you know, well over like a decade or so ago. You know, just about energy and consciousness, and just how it's not even really fine tuned. It's not even like a going through it like a fine tooth comb or anything. It's like literally it's so simple. It is, if you slow it down, the consciousness and everything, exactly what you are saying and what is actually happening is not the same. And if, like, the average person would be like, yeah, okay, so what? And so what if I'm not saying what's actually going on? And so what if I'm doing what I'm not actually saying? But doesn't that bother you, though? Why not? Why are you not one Why are you 2, right? This can go into a lot of different scenarios. One, namely disassociation on a big level. But why is there not 1, right? We get to this point where, in ourself, we have gone to certain amounts of denial where we're lenient on ourselves in an enabling way. And we are full of reasons and excuses of why we do say or be certain ways, and this is the big one, okay? Because what you speak and where your consciousness is at vibrationally, that's where everything's at in your life. Things are going on, the experiences and the events, everything. It can all shift in a moment, right? But also you have to get your consciousness where it needs to be at, right? It's not as simply a matter as everything's material. I'm just going to move this around. I'm just going to color this. I'm just going to do this. And then it fixes. It's not just a materialistic thing. We're not here for materialism, right? We're here to anchor the etheric, the spirituality fully into the physical realm. So with that experience, it actually does matter in a lot of ways, because your thoughts, your dreams, your wishes, energies, intentions, desires, all those different internal matters that the average person can't see, nobody can touch, it's energy. That point right there, that's spirituality. That's the etheric. That is the representation of the etheric down here with you, blending through your life with you in a physical body. Your feelings, your emotions, your senses, all those different things, you can't see or touch them, but they're happening and you have them every day, and you're in a physical body, so you are a blend of the etheric and physicality. So we have to be 1. It's not about being this 2 split where we have this internal part of ourselves that no one really knows about or is aware of, and then basically the external part of ourselves, that's a trained puppet that moves and dances on cue when we need it to whatever, Again, we have to blend both of them together. Why is this a mask here? Why am I putting on a show? Why am I saying things and not doing them? Right? Let's pull it together into 1. There's something blocking. There's a split there. And this might not seem like much to anybody. The conscious observer, people who understand energy, people who are coming online and starting to understand this process, they will get it, okay? Because this seems so simple and so irrelevant sometimes to a lot of people, but this is how quickly you can get a gauge on yourself of where you are in your own consciousness, in your own vibration, your thoughts, where you're at, and be able to navigate yourself. Because now, regard, if you just get in a boat and you just go somewhere without a compass, where are you going to end up? You don't know, right? So you have to have a gauge, some form of navigation, some process to be able to navigate yourself and also know where you're going. Feel that. Be able to discern that. What's north and what's south. And then be able to, when you need it, in those moments, be able to guide yourself back to that path and keep heading forward, right? If you have not even established that for yourself, that's a very big hole you can constantly fall into. Because it leaves you wide open to outside manipulation, deception from other people. What they say, what they manipulate, what they lie about, what they do. And it affects you so much because you have not enacted that work for yourself internally, right? That's what starts the trust, starts building, the trust up. Knowing yourself more, for a lot of people, I get it. It's a scary process. I went through that. It was really, really scary for me in the beginning. Fucking freaked me out. Absolutely, and there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of reasons. I was so disassociated and stuff. I was on Adderall and so many other pills for over 16 years as a child from 5th grade. So my brain chemistry coming back from all of that and trying to snap back into whatever balance and alignment was for me, and trying to me in the middle of that process, trying to be quote unquote normal and trying to act normal, like my body's not freaking going ballistic inside. But at the same time, on the outside, external composure, I had to put on the act most of the time. I'm fine. I'm a normal kid like everybody else. I can do all these things. Yes, I'm great. I'm obedient. Thank you. Just go through the part, keep playing the act until I just couldn't really hold it together because my brain chemistry had stretched so much in those experiences, what I've been through, that now coming back to, there was no normal me. There was no old me to come back to. It had shifted, and old wires had frayed. Everything had shifted, right? So there was nothing left but to move forward now. There is nothing to return back to. There's nothing to move back into as myself. This is the new version of myself that's come out of everything I've endured. I have no choice but to move forward too. But then you know what? At a lot of moments I never went back and actually was grateful. I hated every single moment of all those moments. And it was a lot of the bitterness, and it just spoiled everything on top of that. I'll share that with you. Because, again, I could say I'm living the dream. I mean, I am. I could say I'm living the life and I'm doing everything that I ever dreamt. And I am. And I'm so grateful and honored to God of all beings to allow me to do that with my life. At the same time, too, there's also the bitterness in me because of how I went through that journey. And that ego part of myself that wants to go back and just pick apart. And just with every new awareness, with every new expansion, I achieve myself and grow and get more intuitive and more just aware and good at understanding energy and seeing things. My ego tries to use it against me and tries to take me back into moments where, I've already been to those moments, but then it tries to pick it apart, tries to find other details and other information within that. And it's a fuckery. It's a constant wash and repeat process where you have to hold yourself and guide yourself through this process because you're a ever-changing cocoon before the butterfly, okay? It's not just a one process, it's so many, and you can't get tired of taking care of yourself. You can't get tired of loving yourself. You can't get tired of supporting yourself and picking yourself up. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. You can't get tired of picking yourself up, okay? These lessons are for more than just you being able to know how to do this for yourself. Do you have any idea what that would mean for you? What that gives back to you in your heart and your soul when you are empowered within your own being just to do it and to figure out, to trust yourself and to heal and move forward with that. Where we constantly have given so much power outside of ourselves to other people because we are the ones told that we couldn't do it. We weren't allowed to do it. Those weren't meant for us to do. We're not enough to do it. We're not the right person to do it. It's like in all that bullshit, the lies. And when people have so much, and I've seen it so many times through, like, especially in high school, that's, especially in that time frame, there's a lot of, even though they expect you to know who you're going to be in your life, by the time you get to high school, I remember in like middle school, they have like the whole, it's some kind of planned program thing where like they literally try to chart out your life for the next like 4 or 5 years from middle school to high school, what your classes you're going to do, what you're going to focus on, and then what you're going to focus on in college. It's like, we're in middle school. We're like 14, 15, like 12. Like, what are you talking about? I don't care about those things. But yet, they make such a big uproar about it. It's like it's everything. It's to do with credit and scores and grades and everything like that. And it's like, oh, make sure your parents get this when you get home. They try to pull everybody in on this thing. And I remember just like the children, people growing up, and like by the time we got to high school, that was where a lot of that individual, like, puberty, all that kind of stuff started happening, where like everyone just was really coming into their own being. They were really like, really starting to sense their essence, starting to choose that versus what they've just been told to do their whole life growing up. It's like, what, everyone's looking around like, I think I'm about ready to make a clean break of this. Like, I think I'm just going to rebel. I'm going to revolt. I'm going to do this. Or I'm not going to do what my parents raised me for the last 14 years to do with my life. I'm going to change it. I'm going to choose this now. And that's kind of like time frame where those things started taking place and where people had their own dreams, kind of, for the first time after being told your whole life what you're supposed to do, what you're going to be good at, what you need to do to be safe, to be stable, what job you need, what kind of job even that you need to have. You need to choose between a doctor, between a cop, or a military, or a firefighter. Like, they try to give you these parameters that you have to stay into, you know? And this is far more than just, you know, parents. These are school teachers. This is everybody. Everybody's in on it, it seems like. You know, even the church pastor's in on it. Everybody at church is in on it. It's like everywhere you go and they see a child, it's like, oh, yes, and then you need to do this, and you need to be this, and this, and yes, you'll be happy, and you have a family, and you'll be able to pay for all your bills and taxes and stuff like that. And by the time you're, you know, of age, you know, they probably won't even have Social Security, so you got to work harder. And, like, they're, like, putting all this shit on you. I'm just like, whoa, back up, okay? Give me 5, all right? Step out. Give me a circle. All right, chill for a moment, because, like, this is a lot of pressure. And, again, I'm only 14 years old. I'm not even there yet, right? Anything could happen from here to there. Yet everyone is so already in fear. They're already trying to pump you full of so much fear and so much anxiety that, like, hey, you got to get started on this now. You got to study. You got to do the SATs. You got to do all of it. And you got to get the best score, because that means you get scholarships. That means you get paid for this, because your parents are not going to be able to. And then you go home and your parents are guilt tripping you, because, like, oh, am I going to be working for the rest of my life to pay for your school so you can go to college? It's like, I don't really want to go to college. Or what? You should. That's what proper citizens of this society do. They go to college. They get good jobs and everything like that. Well, you should want to go. Well, then you're making me feel like shit to go, because you're going to pay for it, so I don't want to go. You know, it's like it's this crazy fiasco loop that keeps going around and around and around. And nobody's going to get off. Nobody's going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I'm throwing in the towel. Check y'all. I'll be back later, all right? Deuces. You know, walk away completely. Unplug yourself completely from all of it and just walk away, right? And that was just a really good example, but that's where so many people are, especially, you know, children who have woken up. You know, the crystal rainbow children that are coming in and have been here on the planet for a while, they are already mostly woke. And they're very, very sensitive and alert to energy and what's going on the planet, even if they can't put 2 and 2 together yet, like a word or put it into words. They're feeling all this. They're picking up on it. They're sensing it. They're feeling it in their body. It's going on. It's working through their brain chemistry. Okay, and a lot of those rainbow crystal children are in their teenage years too, as well. At this point, you know, they are very much in their teenage years. Actually, last I knew of an 18-year-old that was a crystal rainbow child, and that was about almost 4 years ago, and they were 18. So yeah, probably have rainbow crystal children that are already in their early 20s by now. In 2021, they're probably in their early 20s now. So, you know, the beings are waking up, and what is happening on the planet with the generations, you know, it's going to come to a point where we're going to have to make a choice. And I don't know, I keep talking about choices every day, and that's how many choices we have to make, and it's a lot of them because we haven't been making them. Yeah. So, shoot the messenger if you want, but there's a lot of choices we do have to get to making. But I will say on this too, you know, we do have to come to a point where we make a choice. You know, the older generations, the elders, the beings kind of in the middle, the blue indigos, you know, generation, I forgot all the stupid generations. Whatever my generation is, I'm 29, basically almost soon. In a moment, I'll be 29. So, like, whatever that generation is, and then you have, you know, the rainbow crystal children's generations, and, you know, it's an interesting blend where you have the youth, you have the elders, you have, like, kind of like the beings that are kind of in the middle between the two, and it's like there's got to be a better established connection line of communication between all of them, you know, where everyone is heard, everyone is definitely seen, and, you know, definitely the experiences and the wisdom from all of them. And yes, I say the wisdom too, because the children have so much wisdom, right? We all have wisdom, definitely. And the elders have wisdom. I have wisdom. You have wisdom, right? But if nobody is listening to everybody, it's like, look, it doesn't even matter, because we're just trying to, it's like, do we really have to die off and come back in just for us to, like, keep passing things along within the generations because we can't look at each other and actually say something? That's how serious it is. Like Like, not listen to the elders. The elders aren't going to listen to the youth, and the youth won't listen to the elders, and it won't. It's like, okay, I'll die off then, and then you'll learn these lessons, and then you'll try to teach the younger generation one day, and then they won't listen to you, then you'll die off, and then they'll learn the same lessons. It's like, when do we have to stop going through that whole stressful thing? We can just talk to each other. We can just shut up and look at each other and listen to what we have to share, and allow that to change you. Allow that to show you a higher truth that you probably have never even conceived. Probably never even thought of it in your ever in your life. Ever in that way. In that specific insight. And it changed everything for you. It caused your whole consciousness to start to move. Right? Because it challenged everything you had believed up to that point. And the moment they said something, boom. It was like sending an arrow through all the walls. It just shattered everything. And you're just like, wow, I never saw it that way. And already now you're evolving. You're already shifting consciousness. It's expanding. It's like that's what we're here for. But no one's talking. No one's communicating and connecting and doing that. We have to do it on a bigger stage. I'm not saying it's not happening at all. Please don't take this personally, everybody. I talk in a general sense because this is directed at the whole of the collective, all of humanity, not just, it's not about you or me, so don't take it personally. I can feel that. But we have to get better at doing this communication thing, getting things pulled more closer to where we are able to be consciously aware of each other on that level and be able to see each other and walk through each other's shoes in a lot of ways and just show a different way, and that's going to help change a lot of things on this planet because, there's so much competition. And then I see this energy too, and I'm not going to go through all of them, so don't take it personally again. But I see this energy, the elders, for example, going out, just through all the different states and, places I've been through over the years. There's this, the elders, they're just, a lot of them are scared, definitely. A lot of them have lost a lot of hope in the youth. They have this projection, and it's mainly because all they watch is freaking news all damn day. And old shows from the 90s or older than that. They don't, again, not saying all of them do, so I'll take it personally. But at the same time, it's like they have this, I don't know, it's like this broken, almost like disappointment, but it's not quite disappointment. It's like this broken, kind of giving up type of energy where, they gave it their shot in life. They got as far as they could. And where they're at and what they've really got going for them, their assets, their investments and things like that, that's what they could do. And it's like there's this weird sense of consciously accepting that it's almost your time, or you're almost there, quote unquote, whatever there means to you. And it's interesting how the angels wanted me just to share it that way, like that. So I guess that's touching home with one of you, or some of you. But, you're not almost there. It gets me in my heart sometimes. I just really want to be so sincere and real with you all. If you're going to push this thing, if you really are waking up and you're ready to come online and you're doing all that you can, do you really feel that the end is coming for you? You really feel God would get joy out of watching you push so hard and work on yourself and heal and transform and just get yourself ready and follow your pings and just move back in childlike wonder? Do you think God would just enjoy watching you do all that just to snuff you out? What kind of creator do you feel you have? That's still the old version of you believing in the old version of how the world works, society and the old paradigm. You have 100 years and whatever you don't get done in that, oh, too bad, too late. That's it for you. Time's up. Gotta go. And it's like, no, stop telling yourself that stupid story. I'm so over that story. Okay? There is no aging process. The aging process is an illusion, okay? It is utterly 100% an illusion. And then there's all kinds of people, all kinds of ages, like, well, how could you say that? Do you see me? Do you look at me? Like, I'm clearly older looking than you. Like, oh yeah, that was your choice. And you say, oh, whatever. Okay, yeah. Let me ask you this question. How many times did you fret over your life, over you getting older, losing hair, having wrinkles, having issues with your health, problems, hereditary issues that are passed down through your bloodlines and your family? How many times did you literally crumble yourself over paranoia and anxiety and fears and stress? That is that a possibility for me? Could that happen to me? It's hereditary. I might get it at 52, just like my dad, just like my brother. You've been telling yourself this crap your whole life. And you would say to someone that would tell you that's an illusion, bullshit. No, I'm going to tell you it's the truth. And you know damn well you've been reiterating that stuff to yourself for so long. And every day you're looking at health, better health benefit things, looking at pamphlets, looking at different things. They're like, oh, well, this will take the weight off. Like, oh, this will make me younger and healthier. It's like, well, I need pills and stuff like that. It's like you're looking for solutions and somehow to fix it without actually admitting to yourself what you're actually afraid of happening. And the truth is, it's actually causing it to happen faster to you, because that's all where your focus is at, is on aging. It's just all where your body, your DNA, your cells, everything in your body is listening to this shit all damn day. It's like, okay, aging. I'm going to age. You know? If you actually focus on being a child, and this is part of the funny, ironic thing with being an adult in a quote unquote bullshit, not true, but man's world, which is what most of humanity is still operating in. You know, that whole thing where like you're an adult, you're a man, you're a woman, you can do what you want and have the whole world if you want, and especially the whole dream and all that bullshit, right? Where's the child in that? If you put a child in any one of those scenes and you ask the child like, hey, you happy? And they're like, no, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't want this shit. This is what some old, boring, lame-ass adult who's giving up on all the magic in life wants. It's ugly. It's not joyful, right? So, like, we really got to look at it as like, okay, you're right. I made those choices. I saw things that way. And you can't change how you saw it. It's just the truth. But you can change how you see it now, and whether you do or don't changes how the things change going forward, right? It's that simple. It can be that simple, but then people are so stubborn and so prideful. No, nah. They just want to be arrogant. They think they know better. They think they've got it all down. It's like, okay, we'll try it. Just do it and see what happens. Something's got to change, right? Well, why? It's something new, isn't it? Well, yeah, I've never done it before. So something's going to change. You know, quit trying to be stubborn and fight the inevitable when it's going to happen anyways, you know? And it's like, in a lot of ways, again, like the world is so full of mirrors that we are, you know, we're given all these kinds of excuses and just reasons for, you know, what we should do with our human life, what matters to human society, what is a respectable man or woman, you know, gentleman or lady in our society, and what's the proper thing to do, and what's a good job to have, and what's the proper career or job to have for your family if you have children, and you know, how are you going to pay for your children's schooling and all their medical bills and everything, and oh dear God, and life insurance and everything. All the things we have to think and worry about and fret about. And if you ask yourself, does the world seem like a fucking world of a lot of problems and issues that you have to solve already before you're even like ready for that shit, right? It's like the moment you go to school, there's it's like an interesting thing, you know. It's like children want to have fun, children want to play, children want to be in joy and happy. You go to school, you know what they're doing? The crap they're shoving in children's faces, problem solving. It's like, what? Like, are you covertly, under the radar, secretly teaching children that this world is full of problems already? And by the time they actually catch on to how shitty and crazy the world actually is, and they become knowledgeable and not naive, then it's like, oh shit. But they can see it. Why? They can understand it already. Why? Because they're already learning about problems already. It's like this weird little curriculum thing that keeps happening in the school system that I've watched from my years, and even after I graduated high school in 2011, and I could see how quickly even the math, and that was another thing. Like, I remember math because I fought with math so hard through the years, man. Like, that was like the one class I dreaded beyond anything was math class. You know, like I fucking hated numbers. And you went algebra, and then it went to like algebra 1, algebra 2, and then there was physics too. I hated physics. Chemistry was alright, but physics was like, what is this crap? You know, it's like, and I get the concepts, and that was one of the main things. Like, I get what you're saying, I get how you're explaining it, but this whole, whatever this bizarre thing is you're putting in front of me with numbers and letters and everything and pluses and equals, like, yo, I don't want it. I'm not doing it. You know, I fought it so hard. And so, like, I had to learn how to, like, unfortunately do the math problems and get them right and figure out how to do that. And then, you know, but by the time I graduated in 2011, like, my siblings that were in high school, because I was the oldest, and I have 3 siblings, so, you know, when I turned around, like, immediately, not even that next year, the math had already changed. How they solve the problems, how they, you know, write them out and stuff, and just like, and like new, and this is one of the irritating things that just literally, it was like irritation to my soul, and I swear those teachers did just to piss us off as children, is like the most crazy thing was for me is like, if the math teacher gave you a problem, right, and you got the answer right, that didn't matter to them that you got the answer right. Because whether you were guessing or, and I also figured this out too, there was a lot of moments where intuition-wise, me and a lot of other children, they're like, just, you know, got it. Like, we honestly had so much resistance to even doing it out, you know, drawing it and writing it down. You know, it's like just out of intuition, we would get it. You know, and like the teacher would be like, oh, you're guessing. You just guessed it right. No, nigga, I felt that shit. That was 34. Like, I feel that. You know, and like, you know, she's like, no, you're guessing, you know. But at that point, they don't even care if you get the answer right. They literally want to see you write it all out. They want to see your process, how you started and how you worked that math problem all the way through to the answer, and they want to see your process, right? And it's like, you literally are trying to wire people. You're trying to literally program them, like trying to literally get them to make a system of how to get the problem, and, you know, if they don't come to the right number, they gotta keep doing it until the number reaches the right number. That's like brainwashing just to even like say it like that. That's exactly what that is. It's crazy, you know? And I watched like my younger brother and my sister too, you know, when they hit high school and went through those years, like everything just got more complicated. It got more confusing, the way they worded things and wrote things out, and it's like, you know, it's an energy in the whole thing trying to steal literally the youth, but also like literally like just all the joy, all the life out of people, and consume children so much to the point with stress and aggravation and trying to figure things out, trying to keep up with their schoolwork and trying to stay on top of all these demands that school boards and panels are pushing down children's throats. And it's like, wait a minute, are any of these your children? No. Okay. Are any of these children in your homes? Do you see their process? No. Okay. So at what point do you feel you can decide and dictate this by bypassing the actual parents? And look, check this. By bypassing the children you're actually giving it to. Oh, wait a minute. Did we just go there? Did we just suggest that maybe school board councils should maybe have children on the school board council so the children have a place to talk about things, to express what they would like to learn, what's important to the children, what they feel is the highest to focus on for them themselves based off of where they are at in their life, what they are going through. And yes, maybe they're not going to sit there and give you a whole Dr. Martin Luther King speech full hand, but guess what? They're going to express to you, and you can use your skills to figure out what they're trying to communicate and share. And guess what? Check this. If you do enough times, you get good at it, which means you understand more about them. These things are important. But where people are just in so much control, they think they just know better. They think that they've got it all down, and they just think people are just going to go with what they say. You know, again, this is how governments and systems and all the hierarchies, this is how things work, right? And we are getting to a point, and I love to say that whole line. We're getting to a point. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt out of it. We're getting to a point. We are getting to many points, but we're getting to a point that, you know, with all this going on, you know, all the issues and problems are going to be pushed up to the surface, so we can obviously be aware of them, be, you know, have visual observation of it. But at the same time, it's not to make you spin. It's not to make you flip out and cause you to just, you know, snap. It's meant for you to be aware of it, so we are aware now. Okay, it's like, I feel like we've just, you know, humanity's just been so gaslit, so many things that we just like springboard and, you know, move into reaction and spin so fast without just like having to pause and like, wait a minute, you know. And if everything in life was like a dashboard and things just were presented to you on a screen in front of you, you know, you wouldn't be so like, you know, jumpy, like trying to like run and, you know, jump out of your chair and everything like that as soon as it comes on the screen. That's the way you have to kind of like observe it. You know, when these things are taking place, you know, right now on the planet, with just all the emotions and things coming up and just what's happening with everyone's experience, it's going to bring a lot of crap up from the depths. It needs to, okay? Everyone understand that. This process needs to happen. There's nothing we're afraid of. This is not something we're trying to prevent. This process needs to happen. All the shit needs to come up so we can all become aware of it, so we all can now focus on it, transform it, move it out, right? But if everyone's playing the carousel ride and no one's going to get off, we'll be here forever. Going around and around and around and around and around she goes forever. Until we want to get off and we're just done with the broken record. Like, okay, I'm not going around this thing anymore. I'm done. I'm calling it quits. I got to move forward with my life and make some other choices, you know. And so, you know, us in Divinity, and I was just watching Matrix, you know, not too long ago, and I was gonna find a clip. I'll share the clip with you all tomorrow, but there's like a cool line on there that the Oracle was sharing. It's like, you know, she's like, you know, and I know I talk about choices and making choices too, and it's important so we have conscious awareness of our choice and what we're actually choosing. But also at the same time, it's like, you know, one of the things the Oracle said is like, you know, she's like, you're not here to make a choice, really. You know, you're here to understand why you made the choice. And that's an even deeper, you know, dive in that energy. You know, getting yourself just to the point of just making a choice is important. It's so important. It's important for you to be able to understand that also is why you made that choice. It's like something happens and then you do something. But why did you do it that way? Why did you make that choice? You're also here to understand why you made the choice as well. And maybe if you understand why you made that choice, maybe next time you can make a better choice because you understand that choice way more deeper now. And it's changed the way you see things. You can see the effects and the aftermath of what that choice caused, not just for you, but for other people maybe. And maybe that wasn't what you wanted or what you intended. So maybe now, after you facing your truth and coming to the depth of this understanding within yourself, maybe now you can make a better one because you're fully empowered and you have the wisdom now from the experience and realizing what that choice can do for you and others, right? So we're here to be masters of energy, servants of love, and to push this mission forward and to help humanity wake up. That's not something we need to lose sight of, right? And so even though this is something that definitely has our interest and our curiosity is all over it, you have to make a bigger leap than that and actually move into that. Live and breathe it. It's time to really pick up that torch and walk with it because these shoes are for you to fill. We've got 8 billion people on this planet and there's far too many shoes in the lost and found section for people just to be finding and putting on. Don't you get it? It's like you got 8 billion souls on this planet. And for all those 8 billion souls, you got shoes to fill for all those 8 billion souls. You got a lot of empty shoes right now because no one's filling their shoes. And everyone's got their own pair of shoes. So if you got your own pair of shoes on, who's going to put those pairs of shoes on? You can't. You're going to put them on your hands, it's going to look really funny. You're going to walk on all fours, it's going to look even more funny. Right? So it's like everybody's got to play their part. Everybody has their own pair of shoes to fill. We're not here to worry about getting all up into everyone else's shoes and then just like doing what they just like. No, you got your own shoes. Put those shoes on, lace them up tightly, don't get too loose in them, and stride yourself down that path and get there. Right? That's all you got to do is just focus on yourself. Everyone's going to get there. Everyone's going to figure it out and wake up to the point that they need to, and mom's going to guide that. Right? And truthfully, me just saying this to you, like, okay, well, if I have to choose to do that, then who's going to tell them to choose to do that? It's like, they'll figure it out. And by me saying they'll figure it out, that could solely be on their own, or that could be through another interaction. Maybe in 2 more weeks, they'll have another interaction with someone who says something that just sparks a whole chain reaction. You're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that. You know, you can't see someone else's process. You have no idea how close they are to waking up. So quit trying to be so condemning and just condescending to people just because you don't see it in their actions now. What you want to see now. You know, you don't know. So you're going to have to let it go and trust in God and love. And just keep making your way forward and just know that you will arrive and it's going to be okay. Right. All right. I got a really cool video. That Divinity video I was going to show y'all yesterday that I didn't find. I found it, so I'm going to play that in a moment. And then I'm going to check comments before we go. All right. All right. Here we go.
It comes in waves of unstoppable inspiration. Rising, rising, it lives in unrest. Hear me, it struggles to be seen, not yet knowing the mystery that exists inside this adventure. You awaken, troubled by divine discontent. It will not sleep, nor wait to be invited. Barging in, it does not ask for your permission. The agreement was made long before you came. Yet the body forgets, the mind rejects. It cannot be, it cannot be. Who am I, you ask? Just small and afraid this can't be mine to own. Who are you? The world calls out, to demand proof of a worthy calling. An agreement previously made before you understood how afraid you would be when you stood at the edges of what humans believe is possible. A worthy argument falls on deaf ears, unheard and dismissed. It will not entertain denial. It fights to be released by the womb of your imagination. The pain becomes unbearable, so much so that you do not have a choice. And you surrender. You surrender to love in spite of your fear. You sit unwrapped and vulnerable. It is as it must be. Stepping out of the illusion that you are alone, greeted by open arms. Celebrate this victory of revealing the truth of who you are. Magnificent, magnificent, you hear them exclaim. Oh, the love is overwhelming as it travels to the core of your being. Everything you think you have known crumbles away until nothing is left. Dusty remnants of self-deceit, all designed to protect. Once impermeable, you now open to truth, and everything else just falls away. The awakening sends you into a blissful explosion of laughter. You feel and know the truth of your divinity, your connection to all that is and ever was, and you are one with everything. Exposed and naked, you realize the sweetness of surrender, expanding into knowledge in one moment. You now know what it feels to be whole and complete. You now know, my dear, how does it feel? The emptiness disappears, fading into distant memories held before you discovered that you were in heaven all the while. Magnificent and brilliant is who I know you to be. And even if this moment passes, you will carry it with you forever. You will share it in your smile, your touch, your heart, your words, your presence. It will be impossible to forget this brilliant glimpse of your truth. Meeting your soul for the first time is not something to be forgotten. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. Bewildered in the miracle, you have no other choice than to embrace this knowing. It is you whom is glorious and perfect. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. You bring hope to a wounded world. You bring love to the brokenhearted. After all, you are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. Take this step, my friend, for you are ready. You are ready to fully embrace your power. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. Oh, do you know how deeply you are loved, how special you are? God smiles at the mere sound of your voice, the beating of your heart. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. The angels sing and dance, elated to bear witness to the miracle of your birth. For you are the one. You are the only. You are the one. Dance, my sweet. It is time for you to play and reclaim your innocence. Share the joy of who you are. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. I love you, my sweet, sweet child. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. It is time for you to play, laugh, my sweet, dance your dance. You are the only one who can. You are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity. Remember who you are in times of lightness. Rejoice in who you are in times of darkness. Reclaim who you are in times of forgetting. And share who you are, my dear friend, with the world. Because you are magnificent, brilliant in your divinity.
Yippee! This is a very beautiful video. It's from yesterday. I wanted to release it yesterday, but today it still applies. And yeah, I encourage you all to play that back and just kind of listen to it. I was just kind of like chilling outside in the evening time. It was just really quiet, not much movement outside, and just like listening to that, in my ears, and just processing and releasing whatever comes up and returning yourself. It's so important, that we have that slow down period in every single day. There's a lot of external stimulation that happens that pulls our focus and demands our attention, and we got to do this and everything like that. But what are you doing to also support yourself and pull yourself back, rein it back in, have that slow down pause, like look, breathe, move back into your center, and just give everything a pause for a moment. Okay? And allow yourself to feel the flow. Feel the stillness and the calmness in you. Don't just be like, oh yeah, I had a quick breather, I calmed down for a few moments, and so what, you calmed down for a few moments, then you amped back up? You calmed down for a few moments and you got more pissed? It's like, that's not follow through. That's not fully going through the process. So it's like, really give yourself that moment and return yourself back to calmness, back to stillness, back to center. And when you feel that and you're actually in that experience, then move forward, right? Don't sit there and be like, oh, well, I gave myself a moment. Like, what did that moment do for you? 2 seconds of peace and then you fucking flew off the handle again? It's like, go through the process fully, follow through, you know? And a lot of times, there's no measurement of time with this. There's no duration time stamp with this that it's like, oh, well, you know, I should be through this already. It should be done. It's like, you don't know how big it is unless you're actually feeling into it and tapping in and understanding what is coming up, what needs to process, how do you need to feel through it, you know? And a lot of these moments, it's just organic. It just happens. And you have to surrender and go through with it. Allow it, right? But you also have to allow it. That's the whole point. The point, quote unquote, is allow it. You know, you have to allow it. You can talk all day. You can say that these things happen, and this is this and this and that, and yes, cool, true, all green lights, stars. But are you allowing it? That's the change. That's what's going to change everything. If you apply it, boom, now you have alchemy. Now you have something moving into effect. You have momentum. It's going to end in a result. It's going to equal something. But unless you incorporate anything new or do anything new, you're not changing anything. There's no alchemy. There's nothing being created new. You're working with the same old dusty crap and you're not changing anything for yourself. Right? And that is what we are naturally, innately designed for, is change, adaptability, evolution. We are masters of that. It's only the ego telling you that you're the one with all the issues and phobias and symptoms and all these different things. Oh my God, I'm going to die. It's like, no, shut up. It's just the ego. You are so capable, you are so powerful, and you are so strong in your ability to rise above your tests and conquer them, master them, evolve with them. They're not your enemies. They're challenges, which God loves challenges. Did anyone ever tell you that? God loves surprises. She loves a good challenge. It gets her all excited and passionate inside, and she's going to give it all. She's going to show you and herself what she's got every single time. It's a grand experience. It doesn't have to be this daunting, fearful, like, oh my God, anticipation, I'm going to pee myself moment. It can be the grandest moment ever that you get to see what you're made of. And every single time, you show yourself more. That you are more capable, you're more stronger, you're more wiser, you're more discerning, you're more loving. Isn't that the whole point? Know who you are. See for yourself who you are through your own actions and through the life that you live. Quit telling yourself a story and being something else. That doesn't really work. It doesn't work for God, it doesn't work for creation. Angels don't buy it. Nobody in true reality is going to buy it. Right? You can play the movie all you want, but when it ends, you got to come back to reality, right? So what's reality for you? How long are you going to stay out of that? Love yourself enough. Honor yourself enough to decide that you matter. This whole thing is necessary. And our journey and our path and whatever we are on and who we are being guided to and through, it's all in God's hands, you know? The mother understands what her children are wishing for. She understands what we dream of. And she will do everything that she can to help her children achieve those dreams and beyond that. Greater, better dreams than you've ever given yourself a chance, but given a chance to allow your imagination to think about it, to envision it, to bring that forward as what if this was a possibility? What if I gave this a chance? What if this was meant for me? What if the whole reason why I haven't found the answer is because I've been fighting it the whole time? If I just step out in pure blind faith and just decide to follow my heart, I wonder what actually might start happening to me. And further, could it be probably the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life? Because it's the one thing I've been looking for my entire life. All right. I love all of you beautiful people. Have a beautiful weekend. It is Saturday here, probably a different day for some of you around the world. Have a beautiful weekend. I will see you all tomorrow afternoon, evening time. Tomorrow evening time on Sunday. We have Buddha and Jerry live tomorrow morning with all of you at 6 a.m. Mountain Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Time. All right. Go ahead and get some grounding in, folks. Drink some water. Write your ceremonies. Be grateful. And definitely be more gentler with yourself. Again, tread softer, lighter. Be kinder and gentler to yourselves and all those around you. Everyone's going through a lot right now, and you have no idea what the experiences are. But if we all keep pushing forward and stay positive and support one another, this whole journey is going to be a lot better soon. Okay? I love you all. Good night.